hate to hit that because I don't know, but I want to get rid of that. But I don't know if that's going to. I'm going to hit a button here in just a second. If we disappear, I'm going to be right back with you, okay?
That one's, yeah, that's going to close the whole thing.
And that's going to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Okay, good. Now we're good. Okay. Okay, we're going to get started. My name is Dori. I am the retail manager here at Meadowbrook Wards, but I've been here for 28 years. So I've kind of played a part in all the different areas, but my retail store is where I've ended up, and that's where I'm the most happiest. So, which is a good thing. So we are here to make this Mother's Day cottage. So hopefully that's what you think that you're here to do.
Yes.
And this is Amber.
Yes. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am what we call a gourd beautician. If you didn't know that, that is what basically what we're going to be doing here is what I do in the back. I glue things together. Basically, the final touches to the piece to make it all come together is what I do before it then gets to our quality control and then ship out. So that's what I do here. So yeah, so the first thing that I want us to do to get started is I want to go over all of these parts with you just to make sure you have everything. If you don't, you can send Dori a message. There's a chat on here that you can also send to, and just let us know that you didn't get those parts and we'll make sure that you do get them. So, okay, let's go through these parts. First thing, since I'm holding it, you should have all of your paints.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Yes.
Lisa was having trouble hearing us. Everybody else hearing us okay? And Lisa's back on. I just want to know if she can hear us now. Okay, we're going to assume that everything's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So within these paints, you should have 2 white, you should have a black, a brown, and a purple. You should have 2 separate containers. These containers are going to be your glue. So don't get those confused with your white paint. Our white paint is an off-white. So these like bright white are going to be your glue. And then you have this little packet of greenery that we'll use at the end. You also have these pit berries that we're going to wrap around the little stem here. You should have this wooden piece we call wooden biscuit. And within that wooden biscuit, you should have some holes in it. That's going to be the side that you want up. And it's to glue all of our little flowers and greenery. So that's the next thing. You should have like a leafy one, like a grassy one.
One that has like little white things on it.
Yeah. And then a little purple flower. And then you should have your gourd, which your gourd is going to have this rubber band on it. That was just for like moving purposes and shipping purposes. That way this centerpiece could stay in. You do not need to keep that rubber band on there. So you can go ahead and just take that off. There should be 2 on there. If not, that's okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and take that off. And if that centerpiece pops out, just lay it right in front. You should have all that. And then with your bird, you should have the little body and the head. You should have a little beak, which the beak for the bird is going to be these little seeds. You should have gotten at least 2, hopefully. That way, if we do that just so if one of them breaks within shipping and transit, that you'll have like at least a good one. You should have one of these little biscuits. That's something that's not part of the bird is this little heart that we'll use as you see here. And then you should also have a ribbon to tie around the little bird then whenever we're finished with that. Lastly, I did forget, we do make sure you have a paintbrush, 2 Q-tips, and then you should have 2 toothpicks. I think that's everything.
It's a lot of parts for this kit.
Yes, it's a lot, but it's okay. We'll get through it. All right, does everybody have everything? And are you ready for me to go ahead and get started?
Okay, so right now, all of you are muted. If you want to ask a question, you can either send it in chat, or you can unmute yourself, ask your question, and then mute yourself again. It's easier if you guys stay muted. That way, if there's background noise or dogs are barking, it's easier to hear. As far as your video, if you are comfortable putting on your video, it helps us just kind of gauge as to how fast we can go or if we need to slow down. If you're not comfortable and you do not want to put your video on, that is fine. But if you do find we're going a little too fast, then just send us a little chat, or unmute yourself and just say, oh, I'm getting lost, or I need you to slow down. Yes, Charlene, your dog's snoring in the background. That's exactly right. So yeah, so if you, at any time you have a question, we definitely can slow down a little bit, go faster, whatever's, the majority of you want us to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, I think for those of you that are, hold on a minute, still admitting people. For those of you who are just popping in now, the only thing we've done is gone over the parts that came with your kit, and just went over the parts that came with your kit and introduced ourselves. My name's Dori, this is Amber, and you're up to speed. Okay. So now we're ready to get going.
All right, let's go. So we're gonna start with painting. So go ahead and find your paintbrush, and then we're going to do the cottage and the bottom of our bird. If you can see and hear, maybe. And yes, take your rubber band off if you haven't done that yet. This little bird is that purple color. It's a little bit different shade than the cottage itself, but it's still that purple color. So go ahead, we're gonna get our purple paint out, and we're gonna go ahead and paint this bottom of the bird, just because it is that like true purple. And then when we do the cottage, we'll go and mix colors now. So go ahead, scratch that now. I'm gonna go ahead and just paint the bird, and then I'll say what I was going to after we're done painting the bird.
Okay, so what we're looking for is not the one that has the stem coming out, because that's his head, but just the plain gourd that has a sanded bottom.
Yes.
Okay.
And you do not have to paint that sanded bottom. That's just to glue that little wooden cookie on. And I typically just hold the tail of the bird and paint it. And I did water down my paint a little bit. You do not have to. It just helps the paint go on a little bit better. But I honestly think that this purple that we sent to you was already watered down a little bit. So even if you forgot to water, put some water on your paintbrush, that is totally fine.
Is this a latex paint?
No, I think it's just an acrylic
paint. Okay.
Paint.
Some of the paints that we're going to be using, like the black and the off-white, they are latex paints, very similar to what you would paint your walls in your house with. So if you've ever painted before, if you do get that kind of paint on your clothes, it will stain. So just be a little careful with those particular colors.
Yes.
The brown, I think, is actually a latex also, or not a latex, an acrylic.
Yes, the brown is for sure an acrylic. Now I know what you're talking about. The purple is definitely a latex.
Okay. Okay. So we have latex. So you don't want to get the brown. I still wouldn't do, but the other ones you definitely don't want to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that I understand what you're talking
Sorry.
Okay, so I just did like one coat on my little bird here. And I didn't do the tail yet. I just don't want to get, well,
The
actually,
very tip.
This is what I'll have you guys do. So this paint will come off of your hands. So if you set it down and just hold the top of it, it's okay if you get your fingerprint on the top. That head of the bird is going to cover it. So that's what I would do to paint the tail then of your bird. There we go.
Oh, and you can actually hold it from the bottom.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Perfect. Okay.
I may
So,
need another coat on that one.
oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
For the cottage, it's just a shade lighter. So what you can do is you could take your white paint and mix it with the purple, and that would get you a little bit of a lighter purple. So that's what you'll do to get that color of the original here. And so that's what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
So it just depends. Everybody's is gonna look a little bit different, which is what I really like about these classes. You can make it your own. So even if you don't want it to be this purple color, go for it. You can use the brown, you can use your colors, you can use the black.
And this is where it's handy to have like a paper plate,
Mhm.
because you can put your purple and then you can put your white on it, and then it doesn't mess up your white paint or your purple paint.
Yes. I would suggest getting like a good bit out of that
Mhm.
before you start mixing your colors. But make sure you save at least a little bit of that purple so that you can paint the rest of your bird. So I'm just mixing these.
This is what mine, I don't know if you can see that. It kind of is just a very light purple.
Yes.
And we're going to paint everything.
Yep, the whole thing except this centerpiece.
Okay. And I do notice that there is very little vines that are going around the edges here. You want to go with your paintbrush when you hardly have any paint on it around those, because it will like go into those and like almost seal it, rather than, so then you don't really have a vine. But if you do happen to get it in there, the toothpicks come in handy.
So I think I'm gonna actually put a little bit of brown. Yeah. I'm gonna put a little bit of the brown in my mixture here.
I like it with just the white.
Yes.
So,
And that is totally fine.
yep. And as far as, do we have to do the inside here?
Yes, I would do just a little bit of that inside,
Okay.
just because when you go to glue that center into that, you'll be able to see just like a little bit of the inside of that.
Okay.
Okay, I like that color.
Okay. Is that the one color you
I
like?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good. Much better. So what I did, I actually took most of the purple, just left that little bit in there for the bird, and then I took a whole of the white container.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got my color, if you can see here. It looks the same.
Yeah, it does look very similar.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I'm gonna just paint that whole edge. Is this anybody's first class, Zoom class with us? No?
No,
Okay, it looks like most people have done it before.
that's awesome.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you making this for yourself, or have you decided to give it to your mom? I'm keeping it for myself. But we thought it would be a really neat gift to give somebody, or even to have them come do this together
Yeah.
during the Zoom class. We're actually offering this class on the farm also, beginning of May, right before Mother's Day. And so I know there's a couple, mom and daughter and mom and granddaughters coming. Okay.
Now, if you want to, you're more than welcome to paint the stem of the gourd here. That is totally, I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Mhm.
If you want to paint that or not. I like to paint it, just it makes it feel a little bit more complete.
I am such a messy painter. I try to be. Do I have any other messy painters out there? Yeah, thank you. I'm not alone. I try not to be, but
Most of the time I have my workspace is what gets messy.
yeah. Yeah, I really try, but yeah, you know.
Hey, when you're painting, you're having fun and that's all that matters.
That's right.
Let me get,
That's where the baby wipes come in.
yes, which I got some paint on my area that I need to get before I stick my arm or hand in it.
Into it. Yeah. Okay. If I don't always look like I'm looking at the camera, it's because I'm not. I do the technical part, so I'm watching for people who still may be coming. I'm looking at emails to make sure everybody can get in. So I'm not ignoring you, but I'm multitasking.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and paint my stem. And what's nice too is this paint actually dries like super fast.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna move this up a little bit if that's okay.
Yeah.
That might need another coat too.
Yeah, I
Just
think
a
that
little
one,
bit.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
All right. So I'm gonna go back to my little bird and finish him. And then I'll come back to the cottage and finish that.
Okay, so while we're doing our second coats on our bird body and our house, I just would want to give you a little update as to what's going on at the farm here at Meadowbrook.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Absolutely.
The inside edge, not this piece, but the inside edge, does that get
Right
painted?
here?
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to want to paint that. Even though we are going to put an inlay, you're still going to see like the edge of it. So you're going to want to just brush on a little bit of paint.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so the farm right now is spring has sprung. Although today's kind of chilly, but we have been getting some warmer weather.
Mm-hmm.
We have not started our gourds in the greenhouse yet. We'd start those beginning of May, and so that hasn't happened. But we have gotten all of our gourds from last year's crop out of the field, so they have been gathered up. They have been sorted according to shape and size, and they have been put in big bins and stored in our buildings. And so now we are ready to start using last year's crop to start producing this year's product.
Mm-hmm.
We had about six high school kids that came in after school and helped do that. It is back-breaking work because you're constantly bent over picking up these tiny little gourds. And if you look at the size of these bird bodies that you're putting a second coat on, one vine can produce thousands of them. So considering that you have to cut them all off the vine and put them in little trays, it is quite a chore.
Yes. Yeah. I have worked farm crew, and yes, I absolutely love it. So yes, it is like backbreaking and stuff work. It is a lot of fun. And with these little what we call our spinners, that's the bird body, and the head is made out of that same gourd too. Those we actually can just like go out on our hands and knees, and it's actually quite nice, and they just like break off very easily off the stem. So we just gather them all up and put them in a huge clothes basket, and then we actually end up putting them into these huge bags then. So it's very cool.
I have never worked farm crew. Out of 28 years, I honestly can say I have not worked farm crew.
It's fun. I enjoy it. Okay. So I think my bird body is complete. So I'm going to go to my gourd here and do another coat, which that first coat did really good.
I was just going to say, I really like the way it's covering the cottage.
I
So
honestly wouldn't even need a second coat. I might go through and put like streaks of white in it.
oh, to add a little texture.
Yeah, I think I might do that. And you guys are more than welcome to do that too. I'm just like putting like a little bit of white on my paintbrush, and I'm gonna go through and do some white streaks. On the original here, it's very hard to see, but there are some streaks of the brown on that original. So right now, if you want to do your second coat, you can go ahead. If not, that's totally fine. But what we're doing is I'm just adding some like texture to it. And you don't have to do this. It's whatever you prefer. You can have it be the solid, or you can make it look a little bit more textured.
See, now I think if I was to go back, I'm going to wait. I think I would add like blue, or not blue. Oh my gosh. I think I would go back and add some of the purple streaks.
Yes.
Because I think that would look really cool.
Yeah.
But I think this is good, but I'm going to make sure I don't need any more purple before I
Before you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna actually go ahead and do that right now.
Add some purple. It is so nice when you can kind of just customize whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody decide to change their paints, their paint colors, or is everybody using the paints that came with the kit? Okay, looks like everybody's shaking their head yes. So and I forgot to turn on the overhead lights, and it's going to get darker as we go here. So I'm going to go do that real fast.
Sounds great. See a little better.
There we go.
Much better.
When I first came out, it was bright enough, and now the sun is like slowly going down, so I can.
What's nice about these paints is if you don't like the like little, what we're calling a texture look to it, you can go back over it and it actually covers it up. So.
Are you going to do that?
No.
Okay. The last time we did a class, she was like, "No, we did a bear, I think, or something." She's like,
I think so.
"I'm going to texturize the bear." We're like, "Okay." And the next time I look over, there's no texturizing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what happened? I didn't like it, she said. So I just painted over it. I was like, okay.
That's okay. It
That
happens.
is.
And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of brown and do texture with the brown.
I told you guys to be careful with the vine, and then but the toothpick works really, really good. Again. So now I might go back into the with the purple.
Mhm. Yeah, I really like that we can make these like our own. We have an original we can go off of. We can also make them however we want.
Okay. I don't like that.
Say you don't like
I
that.
don't like that, so just covering them up.
So how I am doing the textured look on it, I am taking half of my paintbrush and putting one color on half of it and then another color on the other side. So like what I would do is I would put that like darker purple on the one side of the
Mhm.
paintbrush
And
and
white.
then the actual color that we painted the gourd on the other side, just so that it gives it that streaky look.
Yeah. I'm such a purple person. I love purple.
I I was actually packing up one of our other classes today, and I spilt purple paint all over my workspace. Quite hilarious.
I like it. Okay, so I think I'm done with both my things.
I think so too. I keep messing with mine. Okay, let's be done.
Okay. Oh, it looks nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so
So I'm just gonna go in. No, let's just not. Let's just not.
we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Next thing.
the next thing that I want to do is I want us to actually glue our bird together. Let's do that.
Okay.
Before we glue it together, I want us to do the eyes.
Ooh.
So you will need a Q-tip, your black paint, and then of course one of your glue pots. And you'll need both of your Q-tips, and I'll explain why.
But only one glue.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so one glue, open your black paint, and then you'll need your bird head.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna do these little black eyes that are on the bird. How you do that is you're going to take the very tip of your Q-tip, dip it into that black paint, and then you're just going to push down onto the gourd. How I line up the eyes is I go from the outside of the nose, and the nose is going to be in this little cutout. So that's where I would go off of. So the very edges of that, I go just a little bit over and right up. And be mindful of how hard you push on that Q-tip. The harder you push, the bigger the eye. So if you want the eye to be pretty tiny, I would barely push on your cotton swab. And if you don't like them,
I got eyes.
if you don't like them, take the baby wipes and just wipe it right off. It comes off.
Actually, I probably even, if you don't have baby wipes, even a white, a wet, like
Yeah.
paper towel or something, will
Mhm.
take that right off too.
Yeah, like my one eye, I don't like it. There we go. Okay. So, and then we're all done with the black paint. So now go ahead and get your glue and your other cotton swab that doesn't have the black paint on it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue our little nose in. So I would just take a little bit of glue with your cotton swab.
Don't hit your eyes with your fingers.
Yes. And put the glue inside the hole. And then you'll just take one of the little seeds and you'll want the thicker part of the seed to go in that hole.
Now, the nice thing about this glue, it's called a Lean's tacky glue, and it will dry clear. So even though, like, mine looks like it has a really messy mouth, or well, mouth kind of, but it's in the nose. It will dry clear, which is really nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you said the fat part goes in?
Yes. So the pointy end is going to be the one out, just like a beak of a bird. Okay. So leave your glue out. We're going to go ahead and glue the body of the gourd down onto this wood biscuit. So I just take a little bit of glue, put it on that sanded part, just like a little dot, just like that. And then put it onto the center of that wood biscuit. Now there is a little gourd design on the one side of that wood biscuit. That's the side that you want on the bottom so that you can see it. If you don't want it and you want to cover it up, that's totally up to you, but that's what we do. And then we'll go ahead. First off, before we glue the head on, I want to give you the option to twist your stem, just because it takes a little bit for this tacky glue to like tack up. So I don't want you popping the head off.
This is
later.
what we're talking about, just that little twist.
Yeah. To do that little twist, you can take the back of your paintbrush. It is a little bit of a thicker paintbrush, but that's okay. It should still work. I put it on the very edge of the paintbrush here, hold it with my thumb, and then I just twist this right around that paintbrush. Just like that. And then you can finagle it and do whatever you want with it to make it just a little bit tighter and stuff. But it's a wire stem, so you should be able to bend it and maneuver it however you want. Cute. Very cute.
Okay.
All right, so you'll just flip that head right over and you're gonna put glue on the sanded part, so the flat part on the bottom. Is everybody doing okay at this point?
Mm-hmm.
They look to be okay, so.
Good. We're going too fast. Please let us know.
Okay, we put the body, we glued the body on there. Okay, then we have the eyes and the nose, and then what did we do? We did a curl on the top.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
You'll
and
do
how
a little.
can you show me that again?
Someone else missed the twisty too.
Absolutely. Okay. So what you do is you take the back of your paintbrush here, you lay your stem down on that paintbrush
Like this?
on top of the paintbrush. You'll put your thumb on top of the stem and then you'll curl it around your paintbrush. Yep. And then you'll take your paintbrush away and then you can squeeze that stem and move it so it's a little tighter if you want it.
Did you
so
curl
mine-
it to the front or to the back or to the side?
It
or-
doesn't matter. Either the front or the back is fine. You're just
Yep.
gonna curl it. You're gonna take your head and curl your head around. So it's not gonna be like a really tight curl. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be kind of a little,
Yeah.
It's hard to turn. It's hard to-
it is hard to turn, I know, because there's a wire in there, so.
I just paint this whole face. No, he doesn't get painted. It just, you have to put his curl on top of his head. You have to put his curl on top of his head. Okay.
Yeah. Now, some people don't want the curl at all. You can take wire cutters and cut them off if you'd like. Or you can leave it stick straight up and just maybe put like a little hook at the top.
Just like the original has here. Just
Yeah,
has,
that
like, a
one's
little-
just a little hook at the top.
And then once you get that little twisty at the top there with the stem, you'll just want to go ahead and glue your head onto the body of your gourd. So I just flipped the head over, put a ring of
He
glue
doesn't get-
around that sanded part, and then stuck it onto the body of my gourd. When you glue it onto the body of your gourd, you just want to like place that gourd however you want to
That's the
glue that head
tail.
on. So if you want the tail to the left or if you want the tail to the right, if you would like that tail back a little bit further than front, you can do it however you would like. So that is totally up to you.
Sure.
I'll give you guys a
Okay, so we're gonna put.
couple seconds here. The next thing we're gonna do is a little fleck in the eye. So you'll want to open up your second white paint container and then you'll need a toothpick. But I'll give you a couple seconds here.
The twisty part. Mine came like frayed a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see, but I kind of like that because it kind of gives it a little character. So
It does.
like Amber said, the tacky glue is really nice because it dries clear and everything, but it does take probably a good 30 minutes to set up completely
Yeah.
so that the head doesn't fall off or the base doesn't fall off. So when you're holding it, just try and hold the body, because like I was trying to hold the bottom and it was sliding, and so it's sometimes easier just to do.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and explain how we do the little fleck in the eye. It's super simple. It's just like what we do with the eye. You'll take the toothpick and dip it into the white paint. And then where the location of that little fleck is gonna be, if you're looking at a clock, it's gonna be at 2 o'clock on each eye. So each eye is gonna look the same.
And this is where, if you're shaky, try and use your pinky as a kind of a guide. So
Mhm.
it holds your.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
It's hard to see.
There we go. You can see that a little
Yeah,
bit.
there you go.
Okay. And then once you're all finished with that, you can just go ahead and set him to the side. And we're gonna need our glue again. So we'll get that out next. We need our glue. We'll need our little centerpiece of our cottage or birdhouse, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll need our actual larger piece of the gourd too. We'll glue that in next.
Okay. So this and this.
Yep. to glue that together, it's just the same as how we've been doing everything else. What I would suggest is putting the glue on the bigger piece and then putting this piece in. So you'll put glue on the sanded part, or the cutout, I should say, not sanded. And then you'll stick this piece in once you get the glue in. You don't have to actually put the glue along the entire edge of that. You just want to do like maybe like every other little pump on there.
Okay.
And you'll also, I would make sure that you do put it on the top, just so that it doesn't
good
like
base.
slide. Yeah.
It's nice that it doesn't set up because you have time to put it on and then adjust and.
Yes, for sure. Whereas if you would use hot glue, you'd have to work fast.
Yeah.
Right. And like we said earlier, don't worry about any of that glue. If you see it, what you could do is when you push this on, you could like run your finger down the sides to wipe some of the excess off. And I would just really make sure you like push that on. Not too hard so you don't break it. But okay. So then it looks just like that.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? If you guys have done this before, you guys are probably pros.
Yes. Okay.
Mine is actually in 2 pieces, but that doesn't matter, right? I can just
No, it probably when it got shipped, it probably broke, but you can just do the one side and then just glue on the other side and it'll match up great.
they'll match up. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
We want to do our heart.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if we should do heart first, or if why don't we go ahead and continue to glue everything together and then we'll do our heart last. Well, because we still have to glue the heart then too.
Yes.
Okay, so let's paint the heart.
Okay.
Let's paint the heart. Now, that heart, you can paint whatever color you would like. It is purple though. No mixing. Still purple. I still have like a little bit of purple left, and luckily this heart isn't like super big, so you should be able to get like a little bit of purple out of your little container.
And if you don't, the white will be fine. You could even do it brown. I'm gonna do my edges first. And do we need to do both sides of it? Paint both sides?
I don't think so. The one side you're actually gonna just glue down onto the gourd, so I honestly think it'll be okay.
Okay.
But I definitely would do the outside edge of the heart.
Yeah.
And I think just one coat on this,
Yep.
it'll be totally fine. Something really cool is if you guys have a super thin Sharpie, or actually you could use our toothpicks that we gave you and dip them into that black paint and actually write mom on the heart of that, if you would like to do that.
I think instead of mom, because I want to be able to leave it out all for longer, I think I'm going to write home on mine.
That would be cute.
Just because I want to leave it out like all summer.
Yeah, well, even if you would write mom on it, you're a mom.
Well, that's true.
So-
I'm a mom, so I could do that.
And another thing you could do if you don't want to use like the toothpick, or if you don't have a super thin Sharpie, I know like this is a long shot, but if you have a wood burner,
Mm.
you could also use a wood burner on that to write it as well. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just write mom on it.
Okay.
And I'm just dipping my toothpick into my paint and doing one.
Line like at a time.
Yep.
Luckily, mom's a pretty straight word with the
Yes.
lines and not very long, so.
Makes it super nice. Okay. And then you can do any other kind of design on that heart. I'll
Oh,
show
that's
you.
so cute. Oh, you were doing like little stitching around it.
Yeah.
That's really cute. While you're finishing that up, I wanted to tell you, if you haven't seen, we have 2 classes coming up. This is the May class that we have one in June. I'm sorry, this is the April class. Don't even know what month I'm in. We also have a May class and a June class up on our website. If you haven't seen, I have samples here. So the first one is, this is the mushroom cottage. So you get to make 3 little mushrooms, and it has a cute little fence behind it, and it comes on a wood biscuit. So that one is May 16th, and it is $42. It does include the shipping, so you don't have shipping charges on top of that. And just to let you know, in July, if you go online now, you can see where we have garden friends. Currently, it is just for at the farm class, but our July class is going to be those garden friends, and they look adorable sitting around this little mushroom cottage. So this one's coming up in May. And then we have, which we're really excited about because we've never done one of these. We have a starfish class that will be coming up. It's the first class we've ever done of our coastal line. It is going to be June 13th. It is $40, and again, that is including the shipping. So that class, and I love the coastal. You're going to get it to do this. It's kind of like a sponge, dark. Well, it's not really dark green. It's like a sagey green. So that is the paint we will send. But the nice thing about it, like, is if you would rather it be blue, you can bring your own blue paints, and we'll show you how to do it. It's just, you will use your blue paint, or if you want it to be coral or whatever color, matches your decor. But this is our first Zoom class we're doing with the coastal line. So that's kind of exciting for us.
Very exciting.
So those classes are open now. You can go ahead and sign up for them. The Garden Friends, which will be the July Zoom class, I don't have a date quite yet, but that will be going out, I believe, in the May 1st newsletter. So if you get our newsletter, you can get that. And also there will be a price difference from what is online for the farm class, because we include the shipping in that.
Okay.
So, okay, sounds good. We ready?
Yes, I think we're ready for the next step.
Okay.
The next step is just gluing everything together.
Okay.
So we're going to I'm just gonna look at this to figure out how I kind of want to do that. So you're gonna take your glue, and the reason you got 2 of the glue pods, because we haven't really used a lot of glue yet. You're gonna use the remainder of that glue to
You're about
put, yes, to put on the entire wood biscuit. So this entire wood biscuit you want to cover with glue. Be mindful of those holes that are on this wood biscuit. That is where your little flowers are gonna go in. So just make sure that you don't like completely cover them. What I would do is cover the base, but don't completely cover the holes. Once you're done, I would take your little flowers and that stem that's on the bottom of the flower, I would dip that into some of that glue and then just stick it right into the hole. With those flowers, you can put them wherever you want on this piece. So this is our original here. This is where these are sitting. So however you want to make them fit on there, that is totally up to you. So you do not have to follow what we're doing or this original exactly.
Right. Now, if you do like the original, looking at the holes on the left-hand side is the flowers in the front, and then this particular piece is behind it.
Yes.
So it's like that. And then on the opposite side, the kind of spiky grass is in the back, and then the white is in the front. So if you like that, the way the original is, by all means, go ahead and do that. If you want to totally change it up, that's up to you too.
Yes. Another thing that I do want to mention is make sure when you go to glue your cottage down onto your wood biscuit, those holes need to be towards the front of the wood biscuit. Just because if they're towards the back, it's going to be completely off and you won't be able to really see the flowers and stuff. So you just want to make sure that is towards the front. But that was a lot. So let's take it step by step. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our glue pods and put a ton of glue on that wood biscuit. So that's what we're going to do first. So I'm just scooping
and spreading
with our Q-tip. And I'm basically going to just take that whole entire glue pod because we have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So we have plenty.
And if you're wondering why we're spreading the glue all over of it, after we get the flowers put in, we're going to be putting this moss all over that glue.
Yes. And tacky glue, like we were saying earlier, does not dry super fast. But whenever you're spreading it out like this, you do have to work a little bit more, like a little bit faster, just because it's not as thick. So it will dry. So you just want to make sure you just get enough glue down on that piece and make sure, like I said, to just like run over the edges there where the holes are so that you know where the holes are, but they're like still you can glue some greenery around.
Right.
So wherever you want that grass, pretty much, you want to make sure that you put
lots of glue.
Yep, the entire thing.
Okay, so I'm going to do my flowers now.
Yep, you can do it in whatever order you want to glue down. So once you get your entire wood biscuit completely covered, then you'll want to go ahead and set all of your pieces on. I'm going to take my actual gourd and put it in place first. And I'm not going to push it down completely. That way, when I push the little flowers in, I can like maneuver it however I want. So you can do your flowers first. You can do the cottage first. It does not matter. And I really like how these flowers are on here, so I'm going to copy it. So this purple flower, like we said, is on the left side in the front. And then this leafy.
It's almost like a fern.
Yeah. And that goes behind it.
Now, should we put the greens on before we put the cottage on, or?
No, I would put your cottage on first and then take your greenery and sprinkle that around all of your pieces. Just because if you
Okay.
take your greenery and sprinkle that on before you place your cottage down, your cottage is not going to sit correctly.
Oh, that is so cute. That is so adorable.
I know, I love them so much.
Okay, so I have my flowers in place. I'm gonna
Mhm.
pick it up. I have my flowers in place. I have my cottage in place.
Yep.
So now I'm going to open up that green, and this is messy, messy,
Yes.
messy, messy.
Mhm.
So I'm going to open it up, spread it out a little bit, and then I'm going to actually press it down into the glue so that it sticks real good, or real well, I guess. Yeah.
And I am putting some of that greenery inside the little cottage.
Oh, yeah. But I got glue on my fingers, so now it's sticking to my finger. I like it. Like a little nest in there for him.
It is super cute. And I am gonna put some of that greenery like around the edges, like on the sides. You don't have to do it on the back side. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, but I do want to put it like where the flowers come out, so it looks like they're kind of coming out of like a grass or a moss, or
Yeah.
just. Everybody doing okay with their moss and everything? Good.
Okay.
And you don't have to use all of this moss. It's
No.
entirely up to you how much you want to use.
When we ship it and pack it up, we just want to make sure that you have enough. So we probably always pack up a little too much, but
Kind of like sending 2 and 3 noses. And okay, so one of the things that we do get asked a lot when we're doing these classes is whether or not you have to put any finish on the gourds when you're done painting. And the answer is you don't have to unless you want to. Because we're using a latex paint or acrylic paints, you really don't have to put anything on them. I do like to spray mine when I'm all done. One, especially with this green stuff, it kind of holds it into place. It's like another sealant. And also I like to seal the paint, but you don't have to. If you decide you want to, what I would highly suggest using is a polyacrylic. Or for this one, because we don't have any white, you can use polyurethane, and it does come in different sheens. So we always use a satin sheen, but I know it comes in like a semi-gloss and a gloss. You can either buy it in like a little container and brush it on. I normally buy it in a can and spray it. But again, you don't have to do that. It's just a personal preference. I just like to seal mine, and it does help with the moss, but it doesn't go everywhere. And the other thing, as far as storing your gourds, you just want to make sure, I put mine in like a Rubbermaid container. You can put them in a cardboard box, that's perfectly fine. What you don't want to do is store your gourds in anywhere where it could get damp, like a damp basement, where there's water. But other than that, you don't really have to worry too much about any place else. Oh, the other thing is, if you're going to wrap it in something, make sure that you wrap it in something that does not have print on it, like no newspaper, even tissue paper that has a design on it, I wouldn't recommend, because a lot of times that design will come off on the gourd then. So just plain white tissue paper, wrap it around, or bubble wrap, put it in a Rubbermaid container or a cardboard box, and put it where it's not going to get damp.
Yes. So there's a couple other things that we need to do to like finish it all together. And that is putting these little pit berries around the stem. So go ahead and do that now. It does not matter how you put that around the stem. I would take it to the back and at least tie it and wrap it one time. And I just like twist it. And you can wrap it however many times you want.
I'm going to put just a tiny bit of glue on the back of my stem right here, just so that once it's there, it'll kind of stay there then. And you can still move this part around, but the back, it will stay there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there, and that way it'll just stay in place.
Okay.
You crack your knuckles.
I did.
Good Lordy be.
I did not mean to do that. I apologize if that was super loud on the. I know.
Your knuckles.
It just, I don't know why I just did that.
It's just a habit.
Yes. Probably not a great habit to have. Okay. And then the next thing that you'll want to do is glue your little heart piece onto your gourd too. So this is just glued on the very center here. So that's where I would put it. And you can glue it onto the actual pit berries themselves, or you can glue it onto the actual gourd. And you can glue it wherever you would actually want. You could put it down in the grass.
Oh, yeah. You can put it like as a little door, like above the little entrance. You could put it up high. You could even put it to the side if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So.
Nowhere.
I think I'm going to put mine at the top. So it looks like you just need to put it from like where the heart dips down at the top. Just put like a line that goes straight down to the point, because it really only hits at one point.
Yeah.
You put yours at the top. I put mine
right
at the very tip. I put the tip of the little thing that goes around. I put it right at the tip.
Very cute.
I'm going to have Todd burn.
Yeah.
He's better at that than I am. But yeah, oh my goodness, I like that.
They're super cute. So that little bird that we made earlier, that goes in the very inside of your piece here. So this will just sit on the inside or out front, wherever you want to sit your little bird. You do have your ribbon here that you'll want to eventually tie a bow around the neck of that. I think the glue is still like just a little bit too wet, but I think it might be okay. I might go ahead and try it on mine and have Dori go ahead and hold it for me so I
Okay.
can just explain to you guys how I do that. So
Hold on a second. Let's move that out of the way.
yes. So you'll take it and you'll wrap around the neck. I'm actually gonna have you hold it towards me. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have it face you. Your left side is gonna go over the top, underneath, and then you're gonna pull it. And then you'll loop the left side, take the right over top, underneath, and go back and pull it tight.
Okay.
And yep, I decapitated.
And she decapitated her bird. Basically, you're just going to tie a bow there, but you'll probably want to wait maybe till later on tonight or tomorrow
Yeah.
and actually do it. The easiest thing too also is to fold your ribbon in half as you go around the back.
Mhm.
And that way it's nice and thin in the back, but the bow, when you actually finish the bow, it's nice and full in the front.
Yes. Okay. So I just won't touch my little bird for tonight.
Don't touch your bird. So
Right.
yeah, and sometimes it's easier even to put it in between your legs to do it. But they can get a little tricky.
Yes.
I don't know if I can tie mine or not.
And you don't actually have to do a bow. You're more than welcome to put just like a little scarf around it too.
Mhm.
You can just take it, wrap it around, tie it on, and not even worry about a bow. It's just whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. Okay. No, you don't have to. You can if you'd like to glue. We had a question whether or not we were gluing the bird into the house. You can if you want to. You would just put a little bit of glue on the bottom of the bird base and then stick it in. But you don't need to. You can just leave it sit out or just let it sit in there, or you can decide later on, maybe you don't want it in there and you want to stick it to the side of the house. You can do that. So it's up to you whether or not you glue. So actually everything, we're done with everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know if anybody had any questions about Meadowbrook, about the project, about the upcoming projects. It can be any random question about how we do our farming or
Absolutely.
if anybody has any questions, please let us know. Or if you think of any, after we go off here, you can always email me with any questions. Please let me know if you were missing any parts. And if anybody is friends with anybody who couldn't make it tonight, because there was a couple people who couldn't, if they have any questions, just let them know the recording is going to be coming out tomorrow. And otherwise, I think we're done. I hope you guys had a great time and are happy with your project. And we appreciate you spending some time with us tonight.
Yes. We love doing this. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.